Hello everyone and welcome back to Greenpine Zoo and Gardens. We are in episode 11 already and our zoo is becoming more and more zoo-ish with every episode. So what have we done in last week's episode? Right along the gibbons, the binturongs, the chital and the monitors, we built a habitat or two habitats for the sloth bears, and you're going to see something that is very cool that I haven't seen so far in a second. Just wait for it. Here you can see it. The sloth bear is climbing on this dead tree. That's amazing. And the climbing animation doesn't look weird at all. That is the thing that is even more amazing. Okay, so we built this nice habitat or this nice double habitat for the sloth bears, and I was asking you guys what we should do next. And within recording the voiceover for last week's episode, the idea came to mind that I wanted to have a huge aviary, a huge walkthrough aviary. And I was thinking about something that I've seen in Miami Zoo, which is called Wings of Asia. And I wanted to have something like Wings of Asia here in Greenpine Zoo as well. Wings of Asia is a huge walkthrough aviary with birds all from all over Asia. That's what I wanted to say. So we're not doing a recreation. Once again, it was just an inspiration for me. I wanted to have something like this in here and see where we can go from there. So that's what's going to happen in today's episode, and it was a lot of work that went into this. So I really hope you guys will enjoy it, and therefore this is the perfect time for you guys to hit the like button for this video already and to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any future stuff here in Greenpine Zoo and Gardens, and also to help me grow this channel more and more. So, but let's get into it. First I wanted to have something like a gate where our guests are walking through, and then after that we are building something like an indoor area with some exhibits for Asian exhibit animals, for some, what did I put in there? Yeah, we're going to have a snake, we're going to have the giant leaf insect, and we are going to have the scorpion. Yeah, that's what's going to move in there. So it is pretty similar to the aviary in Miami Zoo, because they do have this indoor area as well. So I think there you can see some turtles in there. Turtles, tortoises. Turtles. No, it's turtles. It's always a little bit different if you think about turtles and tortoises, because in Germany we have only one word for those. They are all called Schildkröten. It's like, what would it be called in English if I say it like this? Shield toads. Yeah, sounds a little bit weird, but also does make sense, doesn't it? Okay, so yeah, in Miami they do have turtles in there. To think about it once again, and I think also reptiles. I'm not quite sure, but you go into that building, you can circle around. Oh, they do have fish in there as well. That's it. So you go in there, you can see the turtles and the fish, and then you can walk outside through a door, and you are right inside tropical Asia and surrounded by all of the birds that you can imagine in there. Yeah. As you might notice, the video is a little bit lacking in times. It's not doing that all the time, I promise you guys. So when we're getting closer and building something, it's not laggy anymore. The zoo still is not really laggy, so don't worry about that. We can continue building that. It's just some slight performance issues from time to time when I get close to areas where I used a lot of building stuff. So the aviary might be a little bit of a performance killer, because the aviary is going to have so many pieces. Yeah, but I will also explain to you guys how you can build such an aviary for your own. You're going to see that in a few minutes. But first of all, creating the building. You could already see that we do have some staff buildings in there as well, because I thought our staff members will have to walk long ways towards the habitat and taking care of the animals, so we need some of the staff buildings in here as well. At least the animal clinic, so the vet is in here, and also the keeper's hut, where they are able to prepare the food for the animals. So yeah, so that we make sure that we don't take a chance that our animals are going to starve when they are hungry, because the keepers have go such a long way back getting the food and getting back to the habitat, so they do have short ways now to walk. I think within the next few videos we need to have more staff buildings right around in that area to take care of our animals, because I already told you our guests, no, not our guests, our keepers will have to walk long distances for the habitats for the animals, so that is not something that I want to have. Okay, next part is creating the path, or laying down the path for the walkthrough aviary. I wanted it to be a little bit elevated. It is the same within the Wings of Asia in Miami Zoo. You're going a little bit upwards towards the treetops, and I wanted to have something like this as well. The aviary is not, or let me say it like this. At the end of the video, the aviary is going to be finished at about 95%, because it will be like you're going into the aviary through that building and you're going to leave it on the other way. So we will have a separate entrance and exit for the habitat, and we're not building the exit in today's episode, because I thought that is something that we're going to do within the next episodes, and we don't need it right now. So the idea is that we are going to open a new part of the zoo once we leave the aviary, and therefore we have the elevated path, because I wanted to go into some kind of an Himalayan area where we're going to have the Sichuan takin, and we will also have animals like the red panda, and what else? The manul, or the palace cat, is going to move in there as well, and animals like that. So, or Himalayan animals, or mountain animals, let's call it that way. Yeah, but before we are going to do that, I think we are going back into the area on the lower part of the zoo where we are building right now. So I wanted to have a habitat for the Asian water buffalo. That is definitely going in there. Many of you guys have suggested them in the comments to my videos, so they will definitely be moving in right next to the chital and the babirusa. So I think that is something that we're going to do next week. Because I also think it is time to do something a little bit more simple this time. Yeah, because this right here, the whole building, was a little bit exhausting. I really love it because it looks pretty nice, and yeah, it's exactly what I wanted it to be. But as I told you guys, it was very, very, very exhausting to build the whole thing with the indoor area here, and you will see the aviary. It was so much work, so much work. And therefore it will be quite relaxing when we do have something that is a little bit more on the easy side next week's episode. Okay, so yeah, so much for the future plans for Greenpine Zoo and Gardens. And I really, really hope, as I see this lagging here going on for the speed build, that we won't have these problems in next week's episode, but I'm quite sure we won't have those problems. I already fixed the problems for the performance issues in the real-time part, so I'm very positive that I'm going to fix that as well. So, having some decoration on the inside, I was using lots of stuff for from the Indian theme, I think it was. Yeah, and I also noticed when I was building the whole thing that I forgot about the entrance gate for the actual habitat. Because yes, we do have a walkthrough habitat, but our keepers don't care about that. Our keepers won't enter the habitat through the walkway where our guests are walking through the habitat, so you need an actual entrance gate. And I put it outside, so we're not going to have a backstage area here. We're just having an entrance gate on the outside through the walls of the aviary where our keepers enter the habitat and will be able to take care of the animals. Yeah, but first of all, decorations in here. I was building some planters so that we have a little bit of a greenery here and make it feel a little bit more tropical. So yeah. Oh, and when you are building something like this in a house where you laid down custom floors and you already have laid down the path, you can select that you can see the invisible paths. So you have seen this white things around the path, so that is lighting up a little bit. Right here next to the planters, you can select that in the path menu. You can select that you can make invisible paths visible. And you can select if you want all of them to be visible, or you can select that you can see only those that are very close. So it makes sense when you do something like this, when you do the decoration in here, so that you don't block any path or put some decoration material onto the path, and in the end your guests will walk through the decoration items, which is pretty annoying. So therefore it is very, very handy to do that. But it is also kind of annoying when you are building stuff and you need to take care of the small stuff, and how do I say that? And the light of the path is disturbing you, is in the way, whatever. yeah, let's say it like that. So you might need to deselect it after you've done what you need to do. Okay, having some plants in here right now. And I think afterwards it is time to build the actual aviary. I also was thinking about having two separate episodes. First of all, taking care of the building and the inside of it, and doing another episode where we build the actual aviary, so that I do have more time to show you guys things and tell you how I did it, and yeah. But then I thought, no, let's do it all at once. So therefore today's episode is a little bit longer, but I managed to put all the important stuff into today's video. Oh, and you guys know that I always do the custom billboards in here for Greenpine Zoo and Gardens for the habitat animals, but I decided not to do that for the exhibit animals because yeah, I just didn't want to. Let's keep it real. And I really enjoy those small signs for the exhibit animals, so yeah, I think they look pretty nice. What I'm also doing in my builds these days is putting in those wooden beams on the ceiling to give the ceiling a little bit more structure and make it look a little bit nicer, and you will see it at the end of the video when we're going through it in the real-time part. It just looks so much nicer when you have something like this on the ceiling, and it looks so much more realistic and more rustic and stuff. So I really enjoy it. That is some kind of my new shtick right now. Just having a flat roof. And now we are going to build the actual aviary. First of all, we are doing the fencing. And I decided I wanted it to be round shaped. First of all, I wanted to create something like the big walkthrough aviary in Munich when it comes to the shape of it. I tried to do something like this, but it was just impossible to do that. With all the pieces that we do have in here, it might be possible, but it would have taken me like a month to create that and to make it look really clean. So I decided we're not going there. We're just making it a little bit different. So therefore, first of all, build the walls of the aviary. Use mesh fence pieces, whether those that I used or the more square ones. Give it a little bit support on the outside. Make it big enough so that you can actually put in trees afterwards. And then what you're going to do is copy and rotate, like I always do with the stuff. I think you know that right now. So that's the first step. Yeah. Copy and rotate, and do it piece by piece, because in the end, when the things don't line up perfectly, you will have only two parts of your circle shape that the building parts will be a little bit off. If you do it like with a 45-degree angle, you're going to have problems. So the next part that I didn't show here is those roundish metal beams in here. You're putting them on top of it until they touch in the middle and then rotate it around as well. Therefore you can use the 45-degree angle and so that you have a little bit of support structure. And then use the mesh fence pieces once again. Yeah, select your metal beams, press advanced copy, I think it is, and put in the mesh fence pieces. Make sure that you're getting smaller once you're getting towards the top of your aviary. So you don't need big pieces on top of it. So yeah, therefore just go smaller and always think about symmetry. Those pieces always need to be symmetric. So here you can see, if you spare out one piece of the mesh fence on the left side, you need to spare out one on the right side as well. So do that until you are on top of your aviary. Then copy all the pieces, select them, copy them, and then rotate it by 90 degrees. No, not 90, 180 degrees. That's it. And make sure that is absolutely perfect, symmetrical on the other side as well. It might be a little bit off. That doesn't matter. So just move it in the right direction so that they are perfectly aligned. And once you did that, select both of the pieces, like I did here. And then copy and rotate. It's a little bit tricky in times, but it'll work. So, and then what looks like a real mess right now, copy those aviary pieces and align them in the shape that you want the aviary to be. For some parts of it, we just need like 4, 5 or 6 walls, and we need to delete the rest. You're going to see it a little bit right now. So we're going to delete all the pieces that we don't need. The only thing that I didn't do, because it would have been almost impossible to create it perfectly, is I didn't delete any pieces from the roof of the aviaries. So I just deleted the walls on the side. You can see that I delete the top of it right now here. I forgot to cut that out. I tried it, but it looked weird. So we're going to reverse that in a second, I think. Why did I not cut that out? Maybe it's not that bad that I didn't cut that out, because you can see right now that it looks like a mess. So as I said, I just reversed that and kept going on with deleting the wall parts. So that all of the pieces are connected in the end. Yeah, here. I'm reversing it, because it just looked like a mess. Okay, giving it a little bit of support here by putting those pillars in there. And I think you're going to see the whole thing. Yeah, right now you're going to see it. So in the end, there's just 3 of the big aviaries left. And all of the rest is deleted. You can see the shape of the other ones that I used for the outside walls already. That did stay, but the majority of it is just deleted because we didn't need that. Yeah, and that's the structure of the aviary. And now it is time for decoration. I wanted it to be something like Indonesian jungle or stuff like that. So we're going to have some of the temple parts in there. Something like, how do you call it? Something like a place where the people would go to pray and stuff like that. We're going to have lots and lots and lots of plants in there as well. So yeah, to make it look really nice and lush in here. Oh, and I also was thinking about the animals that are going to move in here. So I was looking at the Zoopedia. I already knew that we can have the red-crowned crane here because yeah, they are very prominent Asian birds. Also the Indian peafowl is going to move in here because obvious reasons. And I was also thinking about the mute swan because that is also an animal that lives in Asia as well. That is also found almost all around the globe. So therefore it was a perfect fit in here as well. And I wanted to have some kind of waterfowl in here. So therefore the mute swan is going to move in here as well. And another animal that I was a little bit hesitant about because I didn't know if it was a great choice to have it in here. But I decided we're going for it, and we're going to have the greater flamingo in here as well, because the aviary is so huge, and we do have so much space in here, and also the water areas in here and stuff like that. So I wanted to have the flamingos in here as well. So yeah, just because you can have huge groups of flamingos in here. The mute swan is more like a solitary animal, or they do live in pairs, as the crowned crane does. The peafowl, you can have more of them, but I think it will be a little bit of a problem if you do have more than one male in there. And so therefore I wanted to have a huge group of flamingos in there, and we're definitely going to get there once the flamingos are going to have offspring. Yeah. So doing some decoration with the Indonesian stuff, I'm really falling in love with all the Indonesian pieces. I didn't build with them that often in the past, but I really do like that in here. Here with the stone pieces for the artificial snake winding around the artificial tree, which is looking so cool. We're going to have a few of them in here, so I think 3 or something. Yeah. I also unfortunately cut out or didn't record some of the stuff that I was building in here. So I built some small huts for our smaller birds, so like the peafowl and the mute swan, where they could go in there and take a rest. So something like a hard shelter. You're going to see it in a few minutes, but yeah, unfortunately I forgot to hit the record button, and I just noticed it half an hour later when all of the stuff was already created and placed. So very sorry for that, but I think you saw the most important part, which was creating the aviary. So having some rock work going on, and here you can actually see we don't have any performance problems here inside the aviary, which is a little bit yeah, I don't get it why it was a problem creating the house, but it's not a problem anymore for creating the aviary, which has a lot of pieces and also a lot of very difficile pieces like the mesh fence. But yeah, it is what it is. Here you could already see where the exit of the aviary is going to be. I was trying to make sure that we won't have a big problem to place it at that point by putting it right between two of the pillars, so that we won't have a problem once we're going back in here and creating the Himalayan area. Having the bird feeders in there, which is quite interesting because they can be used by the red crowned crane and the flamingos, but I don't think by the mood swan. The mood swan is going to be fed a different way, I think, but I'm not quite sure right now. Creating some rock structures in here. This is going to be a little lagoon. We're going to create some elevation in the terrain right in a few seconds and put some water in there. The idea was that the flamingos are going to move all the way up here, and we are going to have a little flamingo lagoon in here. Yeah, the flamingos just don't know about that yet. So the animals are using the whole space of the aviary, so in the end of the video, when we're going to have the real-time tour, you will see it, that the animals are moving upwards to the little temple where we do have the decoration stuff and market items and stuff like that. As well as they are here in the lower part, and so they're moving around the whole area, which is pretty cool. Oh, and talking about them moving around here or roaming around here everywhere, I noticed that I have a little bit of a problem in this park, and I'm curious if you guys noticed any similar the last few weeks or months. So in the Sandbox settings, you can set a limit to the visitors of your park. So I had so many people in here. Right now you can see it on the lower left side. We do have around 1,300 people in our park, and the park is pretty small right now, so that's a lot of people, and it's too much. So I decided we're going to set a limit for the guests in here to, I think it was 1,000. I think it was 1,000. It was not 500, it was 1,000, because I thought we need some guests in here, but not that much. Because once I was opening the aviary, I'm talking too much. Because once I was opening the aviary, we had around 1,600 or 1,700 guests, and the aviary was so cramped with people, you almost couldn't move in there. So I decided to have a guest limit in here, but it didn't work. So there were still more and more and more guests coming into the zoo, and yeah, they just were not leaving, up to the point where I decided we are going to close the zoo and reopen it once again. So maybe there was the problem, we're closing it, everyone is walking out, and then we are going to have not as much guests in here for the next part. But same problem. we hit 1,000 visitors, and we were going over 1,000 visitors, and I just don't know what to do. So I would be glad if you guys tell me if you have experienced anything like this before, or in the last few weeks or months. Maybe something has changed. I just don't know. Oh, and talking about change, has nothing to do with today's video, but some of you guys let me know on Facebook that Franche might have fixed the issue with the gift shops, with the modular gift shops, so they might be working now. And I tried it. You're going to see that on Wednesday, yeah, in Raja Bhutan. I'm going to build a restaurant and a gift shop, and it works. No guests get stuck. The vendor will be able to stay in there and work in there, so it works, and I'm so happy with that. Yeah, just so you know, if you want to build a modular gift shop, now you can do so. Okay, but we are already at the end of the video. I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. I hope you liked what I did in here. If you did so, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know what you think about it, so leave a comment as well, and tune in next week as well, when we are going to continue to build Greenpine Zoo and Gardens, and as I think we are going to build a habitat for the Asian water buffalo. The wild Asian water buffalo. So, have fun with the real-time part. Bye guys, and see you next week.